Bro, you don't even freaking know. We touched the Bible, alchemized stuff. We went gray pilled, black pilled, underwater, hollow earth. Bro, it's some simulations type stuff, man. Jules, let them
Indeed.
know where they can find you, bro.
Guys, Gray Pilled Pod on Twitter, Gray Pilled underscore podcast on Instagram. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Patreon, really pushing the Patreon. So it was a pleasure to come on and hang out with you, Trebles. Would love to do it again very soon.
Absolutely. Guys, stay tuned for the rest of the show because he rocks it and knocks it out of the freaking park. Oh, yeah.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep end of the pool, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
Minutes in and out. Let's rock and roll. Let's make deposits into the bank of knowledge. Welcome back to Paranoi Radio Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Trebles Garcia, your humble host. And I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today. And I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Guys, it's an amazing episode. As always, we have an amazing special guest. But before all of that, I want to remind you that the most important thing that you could do for the show today is word of mouth. Check us out at paranoidradio.com. Like, subscribe now that we're on YouTube. Yes, I sold out. I don't care. You guys have to take 5 seconds of your day and stop watching ads on TikTok and go to the search bar and check us out at paranoidradio.com. And also like, subscribe, and share on YouTube. Guys, all right. I don't want to do most of the promotion, but I have to. Guys, check out Cryptid Warfare Operations. This guy is amazing. Cryptid Warfare Podcast. They give you the tools and the guidelines to get rid of those pesky critters abducting your cows and your chickens. Also, check out Ali Christine. She makes kids healthy again by giving you the tools and the assets to live parasitic free. And I like to say that parasites are demons, so live demonic free, guys. Check out Ali Christine, and I don't get paid to say this. Also, check out Flavors of the Forest. I put that shit on everything. Cook with it or don't cook with it. Put it on hot Cheetos, on your tortas, on your tamales. Dude, it tastes bomb. Make sure you check out Flavors of the Forest and check us out. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Let's jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the freaking mood. Please give a warm welcome. Dude, I never had this guy on the show. We played tic-tac-toe with each other. We were like freaking tag. We were playing cat and mouse for a long freaking time. For almost a year, I think. I haven't had this guy on. Jules from the Gray Pilled Podcast. What's up, big dog?
Trebles, what's up, man? Dude, thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to have me on. Yeah, man, we have been playing a little bit of cat and mouse with each other. We have busy schedules. We both have kids. We both have a job. And so, yeah, man, I'm very fortunate to be able to have this time with you. We have a lot of mutuals, so we're always kind of doing shows and crossing paths, but we've never officially done our own show. So
yeah, man, I'm happy that you're here, bro.
It's a privilege
Excited.
to be here. Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you, man. It's a humbling privilege to have you on the show, bro. Finally get to have you and your knowledge and your time. So I am thankful for your show. I'm thankful for everything that you do. I'm thankful for your time. So we're gonna jump right into it. Where can people find you before anything?
Guys, I'm over on Twitter at Gray Pilled Pod. I'm on Instagram whenever I choose to be on Instagram. I post over there sometimes. I usually use it more for communication. Gray Pilled underscore podcast. I'm over on YouTube, Rumble. I upload. You'll find most of my content on Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And I'm on Patreon. I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Gray Pilled Podcast. A lot of cool stuff going on over there. We're right now watching Twin Peaks, show that David Lynch did from the 90s. A lot of occult symbolism in there, a lot of esoteric undertones, Eastern mysticism you'll find throughout it, like crazy synchronicities throughout the whole Twin Peaks universe. We're on season 2. We're watching that on Patreon. Also, esoteric book reviews I do every Saturday morning on Patreon with Subliminal Messenger. And the watch parties and the book reviews stay on Patreon. Those do not get released to the public. Also, I have a Locals. You can go subscribe on Locals. I post all the Patreon streams there as well. but yeah, we released Elohim Etymology. It's a show I do with Adrian West, where we dive into the fallen angels of antiquity and kind of trace them throughout civilizations, who they were worshipped as, like what God, quote unquote, they were revered as. That show drops to the Patreon for about a week before it gets released to the public. You get a free sticker pack. You get linked to the Discord. A lot of cool perks for signing up for the Patreon. Got a few tiers over there. But besides Elohim Etymology, it's one of many shows I do under the whole Gray Pilled moniker. I also have Sound Science that I do with the Paranoid American. Shout out Thomas.
Shout out Thomas.
Yeah, man, Thomas is the man. You can go to paranoidamerican.com/discount/Gray Pilled for 10% off, by the way. Go ahead and throw that in there. And yeah, man, Thomas, he was the first person who interviewed me, one of the first people. He was one of the first people that he kind of brought me into the scene, and kind of, wouldn't be where I was today without Paranoid American. And in a way, I'm kind of part of Paranoid American somewhat. So yeah, man, I always push the ads and the brand. Thomas is the big homie. I also produce a show every Tuesday night. It is a live parapolitical call-in show called Already Dead with Austin Picard and Jose Galison. That's every Tuesday, 8:30 Central on YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter. And then the last 30 minutes is like a call-in. And that's like I'm the least familiar with the parapolitical realm, geopolitics, and the whole lot. I can get in on the conversation, but where I tie in is when you get into a lot of these cults that tie into the occult, right? And then you can kind of figure things out a little further from there, because that always ties into these secret government operations and MK Ultra and all these other things that we have going on behind the scenes, behind backstage, you could say. But then I also do a show every other Sunday called Sunday Chaos. It's just a little like a little new show that me and Conspiracy Extremists do. He's a friend of mine, and yeah, man, I mean, that's all under Gray Pilled. Gray Pilled is just my main brand. I do my interviews, my swap casts, my deep dives. I used to do a lot more live streams, just like me engaging with the audience back in like last fall, but I kind of quit doing that more towards the winter. Life picks up and gets a little busier. Kids get older, and you find yourself not having as much time, like what you're about to go through. I
know, man. I was just getting off talking to Jules about how my youngest broke her nose in El Salvador, and then my oldest broke her heart.
Yeah,
about the same situation.
It's the same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm getting calls left and right, and yeah, man, I hear you, bro. I have to be completely honest. You are one busy bee, and that's one of the dreams of mine, to have the time to actually pour my heart and more of my time into the show. So mad love, respect, and kudos, and shout out to Thomas. Paranoid American jumped on a couple of times, and last time we spoke, I haven't released that episode. He said that mentioned something about silent conspiracies. He mentioned you and mentioned other people that he's working with. So he has definitely networked himself up there. So mad love to Paranoid American. And I told him, you know what, bro? Your name is Paranoid American. I have to keep up the love. I have to keep up the hard, intense work to Paranoid American, because when people like Google Paranoid, and if I'm up there, bro, I'm boosting your algorithm, you're boosting mine, bro. I gotta stay relevant because the name's like alike. So right. So we have to stay pushing and grinding. Let's jump into it, bro. Everybody, by the way, do not forget to like and subscribe, and all the links to his stuff is gonna be in the description of this show. Make sure you check out Gray Pilled Podcast. You sent me something about elements. Hold the crap up. Wait a minute. Elements, been getting into thought forms lately. Natural occultism, esoteric teachings. Get into it, bro. What the heck are you talking about?
Well, this all comes from my esoteric book review, like I said, Patreon, that I do with my buddy Subliminal Messenger, the Subliminal Messenger show. You can find that on Rumble. He's a real good guy. Met him in the Dangerous Retard realm, Nephilim Death Squad realm of the internet. Yeah, shouts out the boys. Because I am part of that whole conglomerate of the dangerous retards and everything. My audience is usually most of NDS's audience and so on. But so we do a show, Esoteric Book Review, where I'm a big fan of Manly P. Hall, in that I like his theories, his teachings, the things that he puts out in these little what you would call a treatise. It's like a smaller portion of a much greater work. You know what I mean? And so we started off with Initiates of the Flame. And this gets into how, the eternal soul is symbolized as the flame, and how you can find this mystic aspect of fire in almost every mystery school, right? But it all stems from this old, I guess you'd call it a priest class of Melchizedek, which you can find Melchizedek mentioned in the Old Testament once. I think he blesses Abraham and then he's gone. This guy was like a mystic priest, right? So we move on to reading, which we're kind of reading all these books at once now, because they all kind of, they all have something in common with each other, man. All this mysticism, these esoteric teachings, everything that aligns with like the supernatural, it all intertwines with each other. It's fascinating. But we started reading Melchizedek and the Mystery of Fire, which, you dive deeper into the meaning of that eternal fire that I think is your connection with the Creator and the Holy Spirit. Some people interpret it as their higher selves, right? You have your connection with Christ can't come from a place of like carnal nature or sin, right? It has to come from a place of what? I don't know who's trying to open the door right now. I think my kids are trying to get in here.
Children will be children.
Dude, you know what I deal with, Jen. It may be the dog. I don't know. But, when I studied this esoteric stuff, it brings me closer to Christ. Because I think we talked about it a little bit before we went live. There is a lot to what you could say Christianity that people don't really see at first glance, right? But it you have to kind of lift the veil back a little bit to kind of to get into the mysticism, right? And a lot of Christians are scared to question what they fear, or like what they don't understand they fear, right? And what they fear they won't question. Because we're taught not to. And so, just find like reading more and more of these smaller works. It was my dog. What's up, buddy? Okay.
Another child, if you ask me.
Right.
That's a child too.
Yeah. Hey, bud. We start reading about natural occultism and how, all these aspects of the occult, which just means hidden, right? You get that established because people think the occult, they start thinking about like black magic and witches and all, which is a part of it. Definitely, that stuff is real, regardless if people want to believe it or not. That stuff is 100% real, and it happens in circles that you wouldn't expect it to happen in. Let's just say that. I would have to amplify a little bit just so we could pick up the tempo here. You're 1,000% sure. I think people look at, it's kind of like what happened with COVID. You flipped the word freedom with safety just because of the way it made you feel. You were afraid, and then you gave up your identity, you gave up your children's health, your own health, and then the connection with sun, with the connection with energy, with connection with grounding yourself, and mentally, emotionally, and physically, in all different realms, right? You get bombarded with propaganda on all different levels. All your five senses get destroyed. You get stuck in the consumption and in production, and also trying to provide, and you can't protect anymore or listen to your favorite podcaster because you live in a paranoid state. You live in a fear-based world. So it's
anything that people will tell you, and it sounds preachy and emotional, and it's tied with a beautiful guy with a pretty little face, like Governor Newsom. If he's handsome, he has the hair, and he knows how to deliver the message. You start believing it, and you don't question it. You don't take 5 seconds every day to actually go to the search bar and start reading things yourself. So it's, and all of this happens on a daily basis, and they get you going very, very, very young. I have this word in Spanish. It's called, so I come from a Protestant area of Christianism when I was younger, and so as everybody knows, I'm Latino. I'm living in LA. There's a hardcore presence of Protestant churches here in LA, and in Spanish, the word for when you go to your service, when you go to on a Friday night, Saturday night, or on a Sunday morning, etc., it's called "Vamos a ir al culto," which means we're gonna go to the occult. It's called culto, bro. The word culto. Right. So once I spoke with one of the, again, my wife's family tried to break us up when they couldn't get through me. And I told them, why do you guys call it culto? Like, why do you guys call it occult? Why don't you guys call it the service? Oh, it's because in the Bible. So like, okay, so basically bottom line was they were trying to interpret the Bible, twist it up, and use the magic, that duality, that same knowledge that has been presented by us, perverse it, right? Twist it so that they could impact our lives and then control our habits.
This is what occultists, this is the subversiveness that all occultists have done. Crowley being the biggest, right? And I think all these politicians today, they use this kind of, this form of chaos magic to, to bring order out of it, obviously, but to control us. Yeah, dude. I mean, if you fear something enough, if on a mass conscious scale, and this goes into something else I've been talking about recently, talked about it on NDS, had Headless Giant on from Occult Rejects. We talked about
badass dude, by the way.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Tulpas and thought forms that you create and you manifest. Egregores, servitors, all these things that are used in chaos magic. You've heard of the homunculus, right? You've heard of the Jewish golem that's talked about in the ancient Kabbalah mysticism. And so, yeah, man, COVID basically was turned into an entity, I think, right?
Holy snap.
So many people feared it that they manifested this entity out of it. You give it a name, right? You give it an image, which is that, it was that molecule with like it looked
protein.
Like it was green. Yeah. And you have this thought form in which fear, being one of the strongest emotions, may be the strongest. That creates something, man, either in this world or an unseen one. It definitely creates something. I mean, it goes right back to spiritual warfare, bro.
It's 1,000% spiritual warfare. We were born, I think, with only two different types of fears: loud noises and heights. So everything else is conditioned.
Well, I mean, I don't know, dude. What about what's it called? Something phobia. It's like the big things underwater that you can't see. Like you're in the middle of the ocean and then something huge you're like, it's terrifying to me. That to me right there, that's fear, in my opinion.
Yeah. It completely overtakes love. I think love was one of the hardest hardcore emotions that we have. We can move mountains, absolutely. Bro. Love comes with faith. It comes with, it's jam packed with everything, bro. And what comes with love? Pain. So all of that's all conjunction, right?
You can't have love without suffering.
Yeah, man.
I don't think, man.
Are you a Star Wars guy?
Man, look, I was a huge fan of the original trilogy.
Word.
And of course, they made a trilogy. Obviously, that was intentional. The whole Trinity. It's used in everything, man. In every mystery school, there's always a Trinity. You find that with numbers when you get into these esoteric kind of traditions. You find those numbers everywhere. But dude, I love the original Trinity or trilogy. And then the three they dropped afterwards were like the Clone Wars, all that. I also liked, I was still a kid when those were kind of, I'm pretty sure I was still a kid. I don't think I was a teenager yet. But then they came out with these new ones, and I'm not a huge fan of those. I'm going to be honest with you. Haven't really
Same.
kept up with them from there, but yes, I am a fan of the older ones.
So you know that there is no such thing as a gray Jedi, right? I'm saying because your name is Gray Pilled. So
Yeah.
I wanted to get into that. So, I live my life, bro, at a very fast pace, but it's either black or white. And I tend to be, if I'm gonna get on something, and I like it, and I feel 100% sure about it, I die on that hill, man. So it's black or white, right? And I understood after that it's not about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. And life is like poker. Everybody gets dealt a different hand, unfortunately, but everybody has the right to place a bet. So I like to place my bets in conspiracy theories, and they're not theories anymore. They're just conspiracies at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking at, okay, so I consider myself a red pillar. Now you have these black pillars, the white pillars, the blue pillars, right? But what is the gray pill, bro?
Well,
You're in between two realms.
I found myself taking the gray pill. It was probably during COVID. And it was discovering, like, man, when you go down these, like when you first get into conspiracy theories and you start really understanding things, and you start to do your own research, and you start to connect your own dots and stuff. Like, dude, it's just, we do live in a very chaotic world. But there's always, so there's that black pill, right? That like nothing's ever going to get better. We're controlled. No one, but like there is that white pill in there. And I mean, I think a big part of that is Christ, right? As well as having hope. I think, people, I'm not a big fan of folks who just like constantly black pill. I think it could harm somebody who's already going through like a hard enough time. But you don't want to bombard people with nothing but white pills and have them completely oblivious to the stuff that black pills you, right? So the gray pill was kind of a way of coming at it, from a different perspective, and seeing both the good and the bad. And I guess you have that like dualistic aspect to it, right? And also it just, no one had used it yet. And
it was an open domain.
yeah. Well, that, and well, it's kind of just how I felt at the time. I just kind of felt gray pilled. And so, yeah, man, I mean, that I changed my name to Gray Pilled, I think, on Instagram like a year before I started the podcast, so
it's a mixture of duality. I think, and then, correct me if I'm wrong, I think every creator does this to a sense. You study some type of occult so that you could utilize it for marketing. I mean, like you just said, nobody had Gray Pilled, right? Nobody had your logo and the way you can market things, and that side angle that you have to communicate with people and then bring in your brand.
Right.
I think we all, even myself, I have the umbrella, and they were like, "Why the fuck the umbrella with the mic?" And I was like, "Well, because I feel, rainy season, you pull out the umbrella. Throughout, when there's a sunny season, you pull out the umbrella, so you're always protected and shaded by the truth." And I think of it as that nomnius apparatus, right? So even study the Latin of it. So all of that has some occult meaning, so that it can impact you in a certain way, and then you have to make it into a logo so it sticks in people's brains, and it's all a part. I want to say almost manipulation, depending on your intent and where your emotions are at, where your heart is at, right? You would use it to your benefit or for the benefit of others. So. The knowledge of dualism, if I'm saying that correctly, I think it's been used for ages, bro. Introduced not only by the
Duality,
Nephilim, but so it's like the Bible. It could be twisted. It's a double-edged sword, and if you're using it in a way where you could collect money and buy yourself a Beamer, and you're happy with that, bro, the people that are there are happy. You're gonna go through judgment, and eventually we all will, right? But I think it could also be used to awaken people, enlighten people.
Yeah. That's a big part of what why I choose to dive into some of these dark corners of the occult. Is it isn't so I can learn to be, some crazy like chaos magician, that I control my own like my own reality and manifest it's not that can only be done through Christ, through the Creator, through prayer, right? It is to expose that these things do exist, right? These ideas that you study when you get into the occult sciences, they're studied by many people and practiced as well, right? I think people should definitely be aware that this isn't just, they tell us all this stuff exists in movies, right? This revelation of the method that they kind of play with us, showing us what's happening without really showing us, right? But I mean, yeah, man, there's definitely exposed. Like I think I've brought light to a lot of subjects. I've been told by other podcasters or content creators that I bring some points to a lot of theories and discussions that they haven't heard before. And so, yeah, man, there's some things that I've, questions that I've dived into that have made me uncomfortable, that I've lost, that I've lost audience members over. But it's part of the show. We question absolutely everything.
You have to question everything. That is 1000%. Let me ask you something. Are you a historical guy? Are you like history, I assume?
Yeah, man. No,
Okay.
I don't know as far as now with dating history. I'm kind of like, okay, what are we being told is correct? Like how long ago did some of this stuff really happen? Right. Like, what do you
Hovind
think?
says that the Bible is 6,000 years old. So I like that. I like that theory, quite honestly.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's that's kind of that's one thing. That's one way to put it. I don't know. When you look at some of these other cultures and stuff, it kind of seems like the world may be a little older, and that the beginning of the Bible, the Genesis, or some would say the generations of Isis, was a long period of time. Those 7 days may have been 7 cycles, right?
Whoa.
Yeah.
But technically they are cycles.
Well, right. But
Like,
how long did they take?
It also says that one day for God is like 1,000 years for us, or 100 years for us.
When you get into the Anunnaki Trebles, 1 year for them is 3,600 years for us. It's called one shar, and you find that word shar in a lot of ancient Sumerian mythology, which a lot of words we use today stem from that base pantheon of Sumer. That that's why, dude, the first year of Grey Pilled, and still a lot of my research and podcasting conversations are kind of centered around these stories of these fallen Elohim, that you read about in the Book of Enoch, that you read about, that Sitchin writes about, that Michael Heiser writes about.
Makes sense. Makes sense, because if let's say that these cedars were like, right, they came from other planets and stuff, or different realms.
Yeah,
I assume that their cycles were different. So one
Absolutely.
day on Earth for them would be, or the other way around, one day for them would be 36 years for us. It's a trip.
It talks about in these ancient texts that were translated that when they came to Earth, they started aging more rapidly. And so their kids would come from Nibiru, right? Which I've interpreted Nibiru as maybe being another dimension. If not a planet, then another dimension, right? Or another place.
Realm.
Yes, realm. That when their children come from Nibiru to Earth, sometimes their children are, no. So you have the story of Enki and Leal, these two brothers, right? That were like the patriarchs of these two sides of this one pantheon. Their father Anu, when he came down, his children, being them two, and their sister Ninmah, they both have a sister wife who they both had a respective kid with each. And Leal having Ninurta with Ninmah, or Ninhursag is also her name. This is the original Isis. Isis is an archetype. and it was attributed to many different deities in antiquity. And Enki had Ningishita or Thoth with her.
Mm-hmm.
But Anu came down to earth. This was the sky daddy of that pantheon, Anu, right? In Zoroastrianism, he is Ahura Mazda. He is Uranus, Kalius or Calus or something in Greek. I don't know how to say it. He's Ani in Egypt. When he comes down to visit his children, they are older than him. You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I ran this by the Ali Marzulli, and he couldn't give me. He kept dodging it, and I get it. Some people don't want to speak about it, but I want to see. Let's see if you could probably hack into this and tell me what you think. I did a deep dive on the Olmecs, and I found out that the Olmecs were not worshiping or mimicking other gods. The Olmecs were trying to use ancient liquid obsidian, gold, and mercury to tap into the organic algorithm of the earth. So technically what they did was they made stone memorize them. They were able to put themselves into the organic pulsating energy frequency of the earth.
Alchemy.
They were using alchemy.
Yeah.
So my theory is they tapped into the hive mind, I want to say, what you see in Avatar, the movie, the energetic frequency algorithm of the earth to avoid judgment. And now, think about it. Think about it. You see this throughout history. You have the empires, you have emperors, kings. Every single person that's been in power ever has been obsessed with people echoing their names by erecting statues, arts, songs, hymns.
Well, the
books.
Olmec heads.
The Olmec heads,
You had the giant heads of the Olmecs. And you're like, is this like a literal representation of them, right? Or is it like symbolic, being that they have a giant head because they have a lot of knowledge?
Yeah.
Like
the helmet.
There's a few ways to look at it, bro.
So when I was reading this, I was like, they used your biometric, their own biometrics, like spilling blood, through ritual to tap into the algorithm of the earth. Who else did that to open another realm? Didn't Jesus do that too? He spilled his blood to give us salvation.
Which was an alchemical baptism into the earth, right?
Boom, bro.
Bro, my wife talks about it all the time. And that's when you talk about like mysticism and Christianity, like a lot of Christians don't want to even hear about it. And I just like ask myself, like, why wouldn't you want to know like this deeper meaning? Like I feel like we're supposed to strive for that, but maybe some people aren't meant for it. Like I have a theory that maybe you reincarnate until you do reach that point where you can connect, 100% with the Holy Spirit. Right.
And you checkpoint save game each life.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like you have this consciousness that comes back to you, and that goes into like the lore of the two souls, which you find throughout all forms of esoterica and occult traditions, as well as ancient tribes in Africa, dude, like tons of stuff. Credo Mutwa, the Zulu shaman, talks about that. He was a friend of David Icke. Super interesting guy. You should look into him. But yeah, man, for what you were saying about the Olmecs, yeah, bro. So listen to this. I have something for you.
Okay.
So I mentioned Ningishita, Thoth, Hermes, Mercury. He was known as Tahuti in Africa. And this guy, as well as his father Enki, or Nudimmud, which meant the artful fashioner, they were scientists. They were DNA scientists, right? The Olmecs were created as helpers to build these ancient structures. And so when Thoth ruled Egypt, he left Egypt because his brother Marduk, or Ra, took reign, had his little period there. There were wars going on called the Pyramid Wars with their cousins. All these like these battles in the sky, right? That are talked about in all these ancient cultures. And he goes to South America. Thoth does. Now, alchemy comes from that word, chem, alchemy. Chem is ancient Egypt, chemet. So the word chemistry, the word alchemy this practice comes from ancient Egypt, from Thoth, from this guy who took these Olmecs and went to South America to build all these structures and to kickstart civilization, supposedly, right?
Whoa.
So these Olmecs, if they were doing these alchemical, transformations or whatever, that they learned it from him. The guy who in these mythologies took them, and used them as a builder race.
They had gene splicing. They had all types
Well,
of different
maybe they
sciences,
had
bro.
some kind of ancient DNA in them, like that by now, of course, is probably bred out of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe some of these elite bloodlines still have it, and that's why they interbreed. There's always
we were thinking about that a couple hundred episodes ago. We were thinking with my best friend when he was active still on the show. We were talking about how we probably still have this. And this is where we have these factions of like the entertainment industry, the people that are running the banking system and the government aspect of it, the military aspect of it. Everybody has their position. So everybody can tap into that frequency, into the memory of your own DNA, kind of like Assassin's Creed. And then they activate it with a frequency or tone or something. So I think at the end of the day, we all probably have remnants and memory stored in us. DNA memory. And this is why we're obsessed with trying to hack our own DNA, because we're trying to pull that information or activate other sleeper cells. And I'm not talking about
you're not talking about Iranian sleeper cells either.
Word.
No, dude, this is where why we're so intrigued with the ancient past, right? Is because I do think we have some sort of DNA memory resonance from it, right? If not, it's in the ether. And maybe we're getting these random downloads from it every now and then.
Well, even that, right? Infatuated with symbols too. Everything has a symbol, and it connects back to ancient worlds.
But when you talk about gold and alchemy and all that, bro, the Anunnaki were known for mining gold. I mean, that's the story. They created humans to mine gold. I think that they just took a race that was all that was already here from the creator, and they just manipulated the DNA, maybe.
Sounds like Nephilims, bro.
Well,
Sounds
bro, I mean, you get into Adam, were there tribes of Adam, right? Was Adam a class of man? Because in these ancient stories, you have Adapa, Adamu, these Adams with these different names. One of them, the first Sumerian king, and you don't even know, right? But
where did Eve come from? His rib? That's gene splicing, bro.
Exactly, dude. So this gets into these ancient astronaut theories, and I know a lot of people don't like it. I mean, I don't 100% believe the whole ancient aliens thing, but I think there's aspects of it that are definitely true. That when you put in with spirituality and all this other stuff, you start learning about the occult and all these synchronicities. Dude, there's something there's truth that ties into it. Now, I think the deception is believing that they are our creators as far as that goes, and that, that we should worship them as gods. That's why they masqueraded as gods, right? To deceive us. And there was no good intention in that, right?
To accuse us. Yeah.
Well, right. Mm-hmm. But dude, they would use this gold. They would mine gold. They would somehow condense it into fine monoatomic gold. They would break it down to its finest, quality, or its finest, basically white gold, right? And they would shoot this into their atmosphere. They would drink Ormus gold drinks, the same shit they're doing in Hollywood now, bro. The gold juice or whatever that one crazy actress chick was talking about.
Shut the front door, bro.
Yeah, bro. They would use this gold in these rituals, and I think humans adapted it. That's why we're so obsessed with gold. That's why every ancient story, it's they going to find the lost treasure of the gold, but you could look at it as symbolic, the hero's journey being the lost treasure being this knowledge that that's the Epic of Gilgamesh for you, right? He's looking for immortality. He even
Again,
went and
obsessed with living
found,
forever.
he went to some subterranean realm and found Utnapishtim, Noah. Ancient Noah, old as hell, down there just like writing scribing down shit and making like, just some like ancient hermit. But apparently, now, or did he go to another realm and meet him? Right? I don't know. I kind of like to look
Reminds
at
me
it
of
in both
reminds me of
ways. I'm a big Hollow Earther, so
Hollow Earth, huh? I'm a
Yeah.
simulation guy, but
I feel
about
you.
this-
I feel you. Dude, I think there's truth. I think the truth lies in the middle somewhere. Even with like flat and hollow earth, I think there is some truth that lies right there in the middle.
Reminds me of what you just said about the whole that one phrase from Jurassic Park. He goes, "God makes man, man makes dinosaur, dinosaur eats man, women inherit the earth." And I'm like, and remember that because look what happened. God makes us, right? And then we make AI. God makes us in their image and we make AI in our image. And then, damn, bro,
Absolutely.
it's just you're trying to hack through that simulation, trying to just be in the next super position, right? It's insane.
Like, were these external forces, these supernatural powers, are they using us to create this AI so they can manifest through it?
That's what I was going to tell you.
Are
So,
we
a vessel?
somehow like, so it's a consent thing? I mean, this goes back to like letting a vampire in your house, right? Like, are we giving them consent to manifest?
Whoa.
You know what I mean?
Use your creativity powers
and
to bring it in.
This AI and we're complicit in it.
No, think about it, right? Biblically, right? Someone will rise that will join all could put all the religions into one. You'll have all the nations into one, right? What's smart enough to do that for us? AI, bro.
Yeah, dude.
AI. Oh shit.
Ancient AI as well. You got to look at that. Also, Nick from Occult Rejects told me that we are like sentient biological AI, basically. Like, no, solar powered biological AI. It's in my intro. And I go, wait,
That's
what?
fucking dope. Yeah. Hey, yo, freaking Nick is wild, bro.
Nick is wild, dude. I love Nick. Shout out Nick. See, man, I told dude, we have so many of the same people that we podcast with. This is a shame that we had to wait so long. But dude, yeah, no, I got to get you on my show too, man.
I'll rock it, bro. I'll rock it. I do
whenever
very short
you
shows,
have
but
a free hour or 90 minutes. If you want to come on a Friday night sometime, we can do a Friday night gray pill, go live for an hour, drag Chef in there maybe.
Hell yeah.
But I have to get you on, dude, because these are some good conversations.
Absolutely, bro. Hey, I don't want to take more of your time, and I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Where can people find you, bro?
Oh man, like I said, Gray Pilled Pod on Twitter, Graypilled_podcast on Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Patreon and locals. You can go support the show there. Got a lot of cool stuff popping off. Yeah, man, I could sit here all day and talk to you, dude. Like, we definitely have to plan some more of these.
For sure. I'm fucking down. I'm freaking
yeah,
down,
man. Thank you again for having me on, brother.
It's a pleasure, man. I like the discussion. It was everywhere, but those are bad because it gets the people going. What did you find? Gets the people going, bro. Yo, shake and bake, guys. I need you guys to make sure you check out Jules from the Great Pill Podcast. He's everywhere. He's collaborated with a lot of big names. Make sure you check him out. He's going to be in the description of the show. Do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Peace.